Welcome, everyone. We will begin the webinar on top marketing trends, how to successfully navigate digital marketing. I'm Melissa Joels with RDA Impact. Tony Mercury, Vice President of Revenue for Autoshop Solutions, is your presenter today. The presentation will take approximately 20 minutes. We are recording it and we'll post it on our YouTube channel. If you do have questions during the webinar, you can type them in the chat box at the bottom right of your screen, and they will be answered during the presentation. Now, I'll turn it over to Tony.
Hey, how is everyone today? Thanks for having me today, Melissa. I'm excited to go over this with everybody. So to introduce it, just like Melissa said, we're going to go over today the top marketing trends and really how to successfully navigate digital marketing. It seems really enduring when you take a quick look at it, but I'm going to break it down and you'll get some pointers and understand a little more of the fine points of it. So at least you'll be familiar with a lot of the talking points, and then I'll show how we can help out as well. So I always like to start with results. So what we like to do for our clients is really show them what value we're providing for them. So through our services and through digital marketing, we want to make sure everything's trackable and attainable. So one of the biggest things we do is we're measuring not only how many calls are coming to the website for our clients, but also how many first-time callers. We're really focused here at Autoshop Solutions on new customer acquisition. So I want to help shops find people they've never worked with before. Another thing we look at and that we're tracking month over month is we're looking at Google My Business Analytics. So we're looking at direction requests, clicks, and calls, because we're kind of well trained at this point from Google where we know how to use their platforms, and so we're watching all that as well. So we work with a lot of collision centers, and this is actually showcasing. I was able to pull some data for parts purchases from one of our local clients here in North Carolina. It's called Extreme Auto. So they went live with us in 2014. So you can kind of see their parts purchases between these three companies down here. We went live with them in 2014 and they saw a big increase. So essentially, the more we increased their visibility online, the busier they got, the more cars they were repairing, the more shop things are buying, more paint, more supplies, etc. So this is a really good indicator that, the shop's getting busier, they're purchasing more, and then they started hitting some milestones. So you can see pretty much year after year how much they've been growing their business. 20 is always with an asterisk next to it, especially in the collision industry, right? There's just nobody was driving. 21 full back swing beat 19's numbers, and then 22's on track to beat this year's numbers as well. So what we do works, and then if you're looking at it from the distributor perspective, the shops we work with will spend more money with you because they've increased their visibility online and they're getting more jobs in their doors. And then here's a quick quote from Jason there. He says, I honestly don't think I'd be where I am right now if it wasn't for the exposure they helped me get. Autoshop Solutions has always been there, and I couldn't imagine them not being a part of what I'm doing. They listen, that's the biggest thing. So this is Jason and I sitting in front of his facility. He owned this whole building. He initially only had half of it. The second half he was leasing out to like a staffing agency, local here in Raleigh. And his shop got so busy, he didn't re-sign their lease, blew the walls out, and just doubled his square footage. And last time I went to go see him, his parking lot was still full. So, he was able to grow from half that building to the full thing and just maintain his level of busyness. So that was really cool to see in person. So what is digital marketing? How does Autoshop Solutions come into play? So the rest of the presentation, that's what I'm going to be covering here. So, if you're driving around, someone's driving around, maybe they're in a parking lot and they come out and a cart smashed into the side of their car and scratched their door, or, maybe someone rear-ended someone on their commute home from work. That's where we come into play. So when someone's searching for the keywords like collision repair near me, body shop near me, paintless dent repair, any one of those search terms, that's where Autoshop Solutions comes into play. And we help the shops we work with get found first on Google. So we're going to do that a bunch of different ways. And one of the biggest things we want to make sure we're paying attention to is some of these data points that were shared by CCC from their trend report. So while someone's looking and they're searching those type of keywords, the things that are important to them are proximity to home or office. Do they provide a warranty for their work? Certifications, and insurance companies. So you can see how these are all broke down from all consumers to luxury brands to just mass market. So it's really important that we're focusing on local SEO because we understand that most people are only going to drive between 5 to 7 miles. Maybe if it's a specialty car, if it's a luxury car, like our CEO actually has a Porsche, and she hit a deer on her way home one day, and she went to a Porsche certified shop, right? So we're aligning with who we're looking for based on what kind of brands people are driving. So we do that through something what we like to call is omni-channel marketing. So it really comes down to the customer journey, how they're searching, how they're interacting with all these things digital. So if you think about it, if someone's searching for, BMW collision repair, they're pulling out their cell phone, they're maybe looking at Google Maps, they're looking at somebody's Facebook page, they're looking at Instagram, and really it's limitless at this point where they can interact. So part of the theory and the idea behind omnichannel is making sure you're everywhere at the same time, which sounds like a lot. That's a big thing, but there's really the biggest thing is going to be the 4 pillars of digital marketing and how that applies to that omnichannel approach. So this is really unpacking that digital marketing. For a shop to be successful online, we want to make sure we're hitting these 4 pillars for them. The 4 pillars are going to be website, pay-per-click marketing, which we're primarily going to focus on Google for that, and I'll walk through an example of how that works, social media, and then as well as SEO or search engine optimization. So by having a really robust approach and making sure you're finding a package that's all inclusive of these services is really where these shops are going to shine online. So let's start at the top. Let's start with website. So with the website, the biggest thing that we're looking for, because again, we're building our products to align with the consumer and how they're interacting with the businesses. So we want to make sure that it's mobile responsive, because we understand that more than 65% of internet users are using their cell phone to start, right? They're in their car, they just got into an accident, they're frustrated, they're starting on their phone. So we want to make sure that website's super easy to use, all the relevant information is right up at the top. Click to call, click for directions, click to schedule, right? So we're building that all out together as well as the website. On the website itself, we're also going to build out landing pages. So these are going to align specifically with the shop. So during our production process, we're having a big conversation with the shop owner, really understanding who they are, what they repair, and how they do it. So Jason, for example, has a bunch of certifications, and we've aligned his marketing strategy with those certifications. So here's an example of his collision repair page, specifically for BMW. He's certified, and in the content, the words on the page, we're also talking about the warranty and everything else behind it. They're only using OE parts, etc. So again, it's building that confidence in the consumer that I drive a luxury brand, this collision center can repair it back to OE specifications. It's going to be like I was never in an accident. So that's really important. Another part that's really important on the website is making sure that you're building in repair authorization forms. So this is one we built for him, so they can fill out all their information right on here. We can ask them easy questions. Are you going through insurance? Do you need a rental car? And it has a sign off on the work that they're doing. So that way they're kind of pre-checked in before they're even coming into the shop. So a lot of that work's already done. Again, making it as easy as possible for the consumer to do business with the shop. Another thing that we take big pride in here is content. So content's literally just the words on the website. The big thing that Google's looking for though is making sure it's unique content. By having unique content, that means it's only on your website and it's nowhere else on the internet. Google prefers that, and we're actually going to see an up ranking for search engine optimization with that. So now that we got the website built out, we're going to launch it. Google typically takes anywhere from 30 to 90 days to look at the website and read it. So they have artificial intelligence that reads it as well as humans. So they're going to go through and understand what your website's doing, what you serve, and this is part of SEO, and I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but now it's out and it's publicly available. So now when someone's searching, now we can start running ads against it. So we've all seen ads, they come right up at the top. It's typically the first 1 or 3 positions on Google. So it is a pay to play environment. It's invaluable though, because you essentially get the shortcut. When someone's searching for collision repair near me, I even ad pop right up to the top. If someone's searching BMW repair, I can have an ad come right up to the top. paintless dent repair. I know a lot of collision centers are folding in either window tinting, paintless film protection, stuff like that. So we can go after all those keywords for the shops that we're working with to make sure they're getting that first position. So, once they're coming here, they're going to click over to the ad, and then back to that example I showed earlier. So they're going to come right over to that collision page. Let's say they searched for BMW, I'm pushing them right to that page because that's what they were looking for. So this also plays directly into SEO. So you're really going to see those 4 pillars of internet marketing are super intertwined, and that's why it's so important to be doing all of them at the same time. So a question I was actually just asked this earlier today is, what should my budget be for ads? And it's really a loaded question because it really depends on that shop's local market and who else is bidding on these keywords. I have a shop in Dallas that their average cost per click is well over $20 because it's so competitive. I have a shop here in Durham, North Carolina. Their average cost per click is like $2.70. So that's why I say it's a loaded question. We'll know after we're running ads for 60, 90 days to really make a good recommendation of where to go with the budget. So we typically recommend that a shop will spend about $20 per day to start. And what this is going to do is it's inherently going to get them more traffic to their website. So I'm going to walk you through this example. So average through all my accounts is going to be about $4.11 per click. So when that ad comes up, if someone clicks on it, they paid $4.11 to get someone to their website. So it's a part of the customer acquisition cost of the shop, which should be a part of their overall marketing strategy. So on a $20 daily budget, they're going to get about let's call it 5 extra clicks per day. And then monthly clicks, they're going to get 146 additional people visiting their site for $600. We're going to, on average, convert about 20% of that into a phone call or a web appointment. So that's going to be an extra 30 phone calls, let's call it. Here's the big variable is what's that shop's close rate on a new customer, on a new call. So I put 25%, it's low. It's typically around a third. I've seen it all the way up to 75%. This is the big variable, but really dependent on the shop. So using a 25% close ratio against 30 calls, that's going to be about 7 additional new customers. So I put an average repair order of about $3,500 for the job. So the estimated new revenue in the business is going to be over $25,000 for a $600 investment. So it's really easy to quickly realize returns by using ads. So the formula, it's called ROAS, which is return on ad spend. And it's basically for every $1 that's getting put into ads, how much is coming back into your business? Because the average repair order is so high on the collision side, it's very quickly realized. So this client is saying for every $1 they're putting into their ad campaign, they're getting $42 back. So what we do is after we get more data, we're going to go back and look and say, what's your market space? Where are you at? How much more volume can you handle? And then we make educated decisions with the shop owner to really say, hey, you're spending $600, but you're leaving this much meat on the bone. You could actually spend $2,000 a month and get even more out of it. And these ratios typically hold true. Sometimes you'll start seeing some burnout up at the top just because you're dominating it so much. But it's typically a gas pedal. Once it's ironed out, once it's running as it should, the more money you put into it, the more money you'll see back in your business. So it's actually really cool to see. So we typically will ramp these up seasonality depending, right? If it's a shop that's in the Midwest, Texas, we see a lot of hail stuff around there. We can ramp up hail campaigns for them. If it's wintertime and there's going to be a lot more slick roads out there, there's a lot more deer running around. If you're in like New England area, and that's going to happen a lot in the fall. Again, we're using our years of expertise to have these conversations with the shop owners and say, hey, this is your busy season. Let's dominate that first page of Google for you. And here's how we're going to do it. So that's the nice part about this is you can adjust with the seasonality of it and you can really tweak the campaign as time goes on.
Tony, I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What if somebody, a shop, uses this program and works with you, do you touch base with them every month and go through these numbers? Do you wait until after 60 days? Oh, what is your
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm going to start at the beginning. So they'll work with someone on our sales team. Mm-hmm. And if they sign up with us, then they work with our production team. So production on a project typically takes anywhere from like 8 to 12 weeks, depending on what package they've signed up with us. So during that process, we're building the website, we're writing all the content, we're building out their SEO program, we're creating their AdWords campaigns. So we launch the website, and then it immediately gets handed off to their client success manager, and that's their main point of contact here. So the client success manager's goal is to talk to them a few times per month, minimum once per month. Sometimes we understand shop owners get busy and they can't make those phone calls. So we'll send reports in with facts and findings. We love to talk to our clients because we really need to hear what's going on in the shop. How busy are you? Did you just hire a new technician? Oh, you just got a Mercedes certification. Great. Let me get that on the website for you. Let's start marketing and targeting towards that with these campaigns. And I really like to call it kind of the dental approach. So when you visit the dentist, the hygienist comes in and they clean your teeth and they look at everything. And then at the end, the dentist comes in and they do like the big overall health check on your teeth, right? So they're looking at, maybe your molar, and they say, hey, you might have a cavity on this tooth. We're going to keep our eye on it for the next 6 months and see where you're at. Make sure you're brushing, you're flossing, etc. So we have a very similar concept here. So during our account review calls, holistically, we're looking at the account. Here's your call volume. Here's your SEO ranking. Here's how your ads are performing. And in our dashboard, we're able to see very granular information in it. So we had a shop in New York City that had fallen out of the map pack for one of their SEO keywords. So we identified it. We told the customer on the call, hey, here's what's going on. And then we tell them what we're doing about it. So again, back to that dental approach, right? Instead of us, we know what's going on. So we're going to write a blog. We're going to tweak your content. We're going to adjust your ad campaign to make sure that you get back to that. So we try to be as proactive as possible with everything. So that way the shop owner understands that we have their back, and we're striving every month to make sure that they have top placement for everything.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So next up on the list is social. So again, this is really part of that decision making for the consumer. So, maybe they searched for repair, BMW collision repair. They went over to your website and then they want to go over to Facebook. So now they're on Facebook, they're maybe looking at some before and afters, they're looking at your location, they're looking at your culture. Excuse me. So that's really important. We have book now buttons we can code in depending on what type of software that shop's using. And then right from there, here's an example of a post that we did for one of our restoration shops. So they actually came to Raleigh for the Good Guys show, and we went to go see them. We took some pictures and posted it. They reshared it. They tagged us, etc. So that's a good example. But it's really that social selling part. So this is my old neighborhood. There was about 300 houses back there, and pretty often we'd have people moving in, and they would say, hey, I was just down at the local grocery store, and I noticed I had a scuff on my car. Where should I go bring my car to get, repainted or maybe paintless stent repair, anything along those lines? And, everyone's chiming in like, oh, I go see Tony at Tony's collision shop. He's great. Go see him. So it's really important to be a part of that conversation. So what we do for our clients is we build out their Facebook page and we post to it, as well as Instagram. So we'll build that out and post to that as well. Again, just to make sure you're part of that story, you're hitting those check boxes for an omni-channel approach, and you're hitting those 4 pillars, right? Website, SEO, AdWords, and social. So this is actually very powerful, just this part. In my local area, I'm in close to Cary, so I'm in their massive group too. So you'll see it there too. So it's very important to be on these pages. And then the last, which is really going to be the bread and butter of what we do, is SEO, or search engine optimization. So it's making sure, in the easiest way to put it, you're coming up first on Google. So we do that through a bunch of different strategies, but I really want to cover what SEO is. So I'm going to talk about quickly what is SEO, what makes local SEO unique, important ranking factors. So I'm going to talk a little bit about content. And then one of my favorite parts is, what does Michael Jordan have to do with SEO? So it's a really good exercise to get you to understand how SEO works. And then on-page and off-page optimization. So what is SEO? And I kind of let the cat out of the bag already. It's making sure you're coming up first. So if someone is searching for collision repair near me, bumper repair near me, coming up first online. And the more often you come up first, the better your results are, the more phone calls you're going to get, the more phone calls you're going to get, the more sales you're going to get. So it's really easy concept, but it's actually very difficult. Google doesn't tell us what the rules are. We've been doing this since 2007. So we know what works and what doesn't work at this point. So we can hit the ground running very quickly for our clients. So what makes local SEO unique? So it's really tying into, Google Maps, proximity. So the big one down here is relevance, distance, and prominence. So it's really what's going to impact making sure you're getting that first page ranking. So relevance is essentially, does your business offer the service that the client's looking for, right? Do they have a Toyota Tacoma that just got into an accident? Are you Toyota certified? What's your warranty like? So making sure that you're staying relevant is through quality content. So again, talking about your shop's differentiators, walking through of what the certification process is, how it's involved, you're using OE parts. So really telling the story. And the more you do that on each page, the more it's going to impact this part of SEO. And then next is distance. Is your business close enough to the searcher for it to be a good source, right? Depending on what kind of vehicle you have, it's really going to impact how far you're willing to drive. Margaret with her car, she actually got it fixed like an hour and a half from here because that's the closest Porsche certified repair center. So she was completely fine getting the car there because she knew it was going to be fixed to specific specifications. And then everything's so smart now. So if I'm searching on my laptop, it's using the IP address and understanding where I am near here and who's close to me. If I'm using my cell phone, they're using GPS off the cell phone, they're using cell phone triangulation, so it can get a lot more specific and even closer to you. So you can't necessarily optimize for distance, but you can kind of influence it through your content and how people are searching. So it's pretty neat. And the last one is prominence, is how was your business known for these types of services? So again, that kind of goes back into how often your pages are getting engaged with, how often your social is getting engaged with. And one of the biggest thing is looking at your Google My Business, how many 5-star reviews, just really overall how many reviews you have from there. So the best way to increase for prominence is increase your review quality and quantity. So, are you using a follow-up software to make sure that after they leave, asking if they're satisfied with the repair, and if they are, then following up with either a text or an email and asking like, hey, we'd love your feedback on our Google My Business page. So again, by doing little things like that, it's going to help impact it. So what does Michael Jordan have to do with SEO? So not really much, but he's a really big household name. And for the most part, everyone's super familiar with Michael Jordan. So if you're thinking about your website, if you're thinking about just a website in general, so let's use Jordan. So what would the anatomy of a bad Michael Jordan website look like? So it's going to have very little content and low quality content. Maybe it just says Michael Jordan's the best basketball player ever. Excuse me. It's missing critical details about his career, right? His accomplishments, his endorsements. So I'll cover that on the next page. And then just keyword stuffing on Michael Jordan. Maybe it just says Michael Jordan's the best basketball player. Michael Jordan has made a lot of, baskets in basketball. He's got a lot of points. He's got a lot of assists, etc. And then the user experience is poor. Maybe there's a lot of pages to click through to get this information. So what does a good Michael Jordan website look like? Quality content throughout the website. So saying the right things, writing what the person searching wants to read about. And then for Jordan specifically, you're going to talk about not just basketball, but the full scope of everything. So talk about, how he was in the NBA, he played for the Bulls, how many championships he won, his sneaker brand, Nike, talking about Wizards, talking about, how he played minor league baseball. He was involved with the Charlotte Bobcats, talk about NASCAR. He's got motorcycle racing stuff. So there's a lot to Jordan that you can talk about aside from him just playing basketball. So if you kind of go back and think, how can your website be like Jordan? You're a collision shop, you're primarily working on these brands, you have these certifications, you offer loaner cars. So build that all into everything, right? Make sure that you have high quality content throughout the site. Make sure you have the keyword relevance throughout the site. You're a collision center, so you want to talk a lot about that, the befores and afters, the process. Strategic interlinking pages, connecting common ideas. So if you have, maybe you wrote a blog on safe driving tactics for winter months, and then in that blog you can say, hey, if you're in an accident, click here to schedule an appointment, or click here to go to our, collision landing page. Clear call to actions. We talked about that, authorization form, booking appointments, stuff like that. And just the overall user experience, like how easy is it for them to use your site, to book with you, to call you, to find you, etc. So it's overall, Jordan really doesn't have anything to do with SEO, but it's really easy to think about him as an example of how you can improve your website. We're also going to write blogs for our clients. So blogs, I just mentioned about safe driving tactics during the winter months. Maybe we can talk about what to do if you get into an accident, like the top 3 things to do if you get into an accident, things like that. So essentially what a blog does is improves the size of the website, and it's affecting SEO through those 3 things I was talking about: distance, prominence, and relevance. So you really want to write those blogs based on what people are searching for in your market. So we do this, we understand, and we kind of have like a predetermined list of, we know what works for that specific shop. So we'll write these on the behalf of our client as well. And then really making sure for the last one is we'll take care of their Google My Business. And this is important because this is where all your reviews are going to live. And it's also going to show your account. So that's going back to those 3 local SEO ranking factors. You can post photos. So he's got some before and afters here. And then I was talking earlier in the presentation about directions, calls, click over to the website. So everything's here as well. So this is really important. We take care of this for our clients. And the last part of a strong SEO program is NAP management, which stands for name, address, and phone number. So that's essentially making sure your information is correct everywhere on the internet. And Melissa, I know I shared the story with you yesterday, but it's always worth sharing. Me and one of our sales reps here, we had a local client that was interested in working with us. So we drove down to see him. It was about 2 miles from here. So I got to his location, and Taylor, the sales rep, called me, and she was like, I'm at the shop, but the lights are off and there's no cars in the parking lot. And I was like, oh, weird. Where are you? And she told me the address. And he had actually built a new location and moved about a mile down the street. I used Google Maps to get to his business. She used Waze. And this is why it's important to use an NAP program, because you're going to ensure that all your information is correct. The last thing you want is to have someone go through this whole process, book an appointment with you, and then they drive to the wrong location. I could see a lot of people just giving up and just finding somewhere else to go do business with. So it's really important to make sure that your information is the same everywhere throughout the internet. And a lot of these data aggregators are going to share information back and forth. So if it's wrong somewhere, somebody else could pick it up and post wrong information for you. So again, this is something else we do for all our clients to make sure that they're well buttoned up online. So I know I covered a lot, a big crash course. So really let's put it all together. So to be successful online, you really want to make sure those 4 pillars are covered: website, SEO, AdWords, and social. And they really, at this point, they're all intertwined and they're all playing together. And then you take that 10,000 step or view back and think of, well, someone gets into an accident or they need, their bumper repainted, anything along those lines. They're pulling out their cell phone, they're going on their computer, and they're searching for collision repair near me. And that's really how they enter into all of this. And they might, maybe they book the appointment from the Facebook page, maybe they book it from the website itself, maybe they call from Google My Business. So there's a lot of different ways to get found online now. So you really want to make sure everything's together. And that was really our goal here at Autoshop Solutions, is to offer the most comprehensive marketing package available for shop owners, where everything's covered underneath one roof. That way we have a super solid strategy and we can ensure success by doing that. And then I'm going to close out with a testimonial from Jason, and it should play the video, the audio, and if it doesn't,
Hey, I'm Jason Mercury with Extreme Auto Collision. I've been working in Autoshop Solutions for 8 years. They've gotten me to a level of success with marketing and exposure, and we're probably wouldn't be where we're at right now without their teamwork. When we met with Autoshop, we're operating at around 7,000 square feet with exposure through the internet and some of the marketing they brought to the table. We were able to expand our business to a 12,000 square foot facility. We were doing around 1 million a year in sales, and we're currently averaging around 2.5 million in sales. So with that growth, we've been able to invest in our business with equipment, get our employees training through certifications, and also acquire multiple certifications through dealer sponsorships and assured performance. And so we're proud to have that partnership where we've been able to grow and exceed the market and be a good competitor for our customers. We've noticed a tremendous increase in phone calls, traffic here at our building, and we're very grateful for that. I think Autoshop had a lot to do with that exposure and able to get us in the front lines where customers can see us.
Great. I think everybody would agree. I mean, this is just something you definitely want to defer to the experts to do it for you and do the, take care of everything all together under one roof, which I was really attracted by Autoshop Solutions. So just to let everybody know, we did record the webinar. We'll send Tony's information out. So if you do have questions, you can reach out to him directly and ask him any questions. Tony, I want to thank you so much for the presentation today, and thank you everyone for joining us. And I really hope you guys take advantage of this for your shops. It's a really powerful resource, and this is really the direction we need to take our businesses in. So thanks everyone, and we'll be in touch with future training opportunities. Take care, Tony.
Thank you.